I decided to paint this stove. The stove is only like maybe 2 years old. This is the stove we're using to heat the house. I brought it out here so I could paint it. This is kind of like the makeshift summer kitchen at the moment. We actually do plan to add this part of the house, but it's still kind of a bit of a work in progress. So for now we're just using it as a summer kitchen. But I bring the wood stove out here and paint it. 2 years ago, I think it was, when we got the stove, I painted it, and I bought heat paint from Tractor Supply, and it said for wood stoves and grills, high heat paint. Well, I painted it, and the first time we made a fire in it, all the paint peeled off. So I took it back and complained to them about it, and they said they didn't really know what to say. The paint should have been fine to paint this, but then they recommended this paint here. So this is actually a higher than the other one, was like 17. So I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I'm going to try it again. I took that brush and just tried to get everything off it and get it decently clean, and I'm going to try painting it. Another question I had, do you guys see this? I don't know why these animals want to just be under my feet today. This like is warped. I've never seen this happen before. I don't know if it was because it's so low, because it sits right in there. But this thing was warped so bad that it quit opening and closing, and we were having trouble with smoke coming in. And you see this pin that holds it in place. See how warped that is? So I guess I'm going to have to buy another one of these, too. Has anyone ever had that happen to them before? So I'm going to get started painting it, and we'll come back and see what it looks like when I get done. As you can see, it's dark out. I made it back from Tractor Supply, but then I had to, by the time I got back, it was time to do chores. I did chores, and it was time to do the evening prayer. Then we ate supper, so now it's dark. But I'm gonna go ahead, I got my bright light pumped up. I'm gonna go ahead and try and paint this thing anyways, because it's supposed to be chilling off starting the first part of next week, so I'd like to get this done and dry so we can get it back in the house, and we'll probably have to use it some at night. So decided to just go ahead tonight and paint it anyways. Hopefully it won't take long to dry. 24 hours should be plenty, hopefully. Another can. Let's see what happens. Alright, check this out. I'm replacing the chimney pipe that goes from the stove into the chimney. And look what was up in here. We never had any problem with hornets getting in here, but isn't that crazy? Wow. I gotta get that out of there. I'm afraid it could catch on fire just being too close to the chimney. But anyways, I wanted to show you that. Somebody gave me this rototiller, and obviously we don't use rototillers, so I took the motor off it. This motor is pretty good shape. It was hardly used. It was used for maybe 2 years. And I am going to hook this up to my table saw. So where I'm at is, I got this longer belt here. We'll see if it works actually. And we're going to put it, let's see if we got enough light to show you this. So that belt is going to hook on that pulley right there. That will spin the blade. What I got to do next is put a hole through the wall right there so the belt can run through there without snagging on anything. Then the motor will sit back here. I'll show you. So the motor is going to sit back here on this platform that I made. Put a hole in the wall right there. And then I got to figure out a clutch somehow to make it tight. And I'd like to put a cable or something through the walls on the other side so you can pull on it and tighten the clutch and make the blade spin around. So that's the next project on the list. Alright, so I got my hole cut. I did mess it up a little bit. I cut this one, which is too far over, so I'm going to patch that, just put another piece in behind there and screw it all back together. But should be able to get a belt right on there and run it right out of here with no problem. I mount my motor down here. I just want to give a little shout out to this saw here. This is a really good saw. It's really like a steel knockoff, but I grew up using the steel, and it runs and operates just like a steel. Like, you can't tell the difference. Starts the same way. It uses steel parts, and it's a third of the price. One of my friends bought it for me, and I really appreciate it because it was at a time when I didn't have no money and I really needed a saw, and he sent me that. So that was really a huge blessing to help me out. But anyways, I'm going to have to come back to this because it's time for supper. So come back to this later, maybe tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Well, that's where I'm at so far. I got this kind of lined up somewhat. I decide whether I need to. I was thinking I might have to put this up on a block a little bit. I'm not sure. It's pretty close there, but it could be slid back a little bit, I think. And there is this thing here, but I don't think that's going to work as a clutch. I'm not sure. I still got to play with it some more. It's got this wire thing here which would tear up the belt, I think. I got to look back on the rototiller and see how this thing was. I'm not sure how that will work exactly. There's also another one, another pulley that moves up and down on that tiller. So I'm hoping I'll find most of the parts I need to kind of make some sort of a clutch for it. But this is what I've got done so far. And once I get that figured out, I will continue building a lean-to over it to protect it from the weather. But for now, I gotta still figure out exactly how I want to mount that and some kind of a clutch for it. We had a sermon, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, and the gist of it was basically the dangers of making life too easy. And it really made me think a lot. The Imam spoke about the dangers of always seeking ease, and that people that always seek ease seem to also be the same people who tend to compromise in their religion. People who seek ease or too much ease, because obviously there has to be a balance there. It's not that you have to try to do things the hardest way possible either. But if you're obsessed with trying to make things easier all the time, those people are also more likely to forget God in their daily life, because they're always trying to find an easier way. And when God is actually, giving you a direct commandment on how to do something, and then you're trying to find an easier way to do it, trying to get around it, kind of, get around the law, find a loophole in the law type of thing, then those people are, that's a dangerous place to be, because those people, it's easier to forget about God and forget about your purpose in life. Our purpose here is to live our life in such a way that we will be preparing ourselves for the next life, for the hereafter. And usually those people that are seeking ease aren't really worried about the hereafter so much. They're more trying to find an easier way to do things so they can, so they don't have to work so hard. And it ends up becoming an obsession where every aspect of their life and all the rules that and the guidelines that God set forth for us for our lives, instead of believing and trusting in Him that this is the best way to do it, we're always trying to find an easier way out, an easier way around. So that just really made me think, and I just thought I would share it with you guys. And I'd love to hear your comments on it, what you think about it. Another aspect to think about is that usually people seeking too much ease usually end up being selfish people, because they don't care about really how they're affecting anyone else as long as they get an easier way. They don't care who they have to step on, who they, that doesn't even occur to them that they're bothering or harming someone, as long as they can figure an easy way out. That's one thing I've noticed. For example, somebody cutting wood on the side of the road, and they park their vehicle in the middle of the road because it's easier for them to access the wood that they're cutting on the side of the road. But they really don't care or never give any thought to the fact that there's people that are passing up and down the road and have to get through. All they care is that they need an easier way for themselves. And if you ask them about it, then they will tell you, well, it wasn't my intention to harm anyone. I'm just trying to find an easier way for me. And so to me, from what I can see, seeking ease, also the flip side of it is being selfish, where you just care really about it being easy for yourself, and you don't really care how you making it easy for yourself is actually oftentimes stepping on someone else, stepping on someone else's neck to get there. And the other thing is, if you make everything so easy, then you become soft. And the believers are not soft people. The believers are, tough. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going kind of people. So seeking the easier way is not the most recommended way to do it. Yes, you should, you can make things comfortable for you or convenient, but it shouldn't be something where, you're so obsessed by making life easy that you lose the quality of your spirituality. The quality of your character and your spirituality is built through going through different, things, struggling at times, working hard, and trying to make it all work. Whereas if you're just looking for the easy way, then you lose that quality, that character that you need, and you don't build any character in yourself. You just become fat and lazy, and you can't do anything. You always got to have somebody doing something else for you, type of thing. Technology plays a big role in making life easy, and that's why we should look at it from a guarded perspective, because easy is not always better in the long run. Easy is not always as easy as we think it is, and we get caught in a vicious cycle of trying to find something easy, when a lot of times, mentally, we need the mental workout and the physical workout. It affects us, in a way where people are, bipolar, and, I think some of that could, or you wonder, I guess, if some of it could be worked to the lifestyle that people live. There's so many more people that have bipolarism and a lot of mental illnesses that they didn't have so much back in the day when people, did more physical work and struggled more in their life. And definitely the amount of depression and stuff that people go through, if you just got out there and worked and bettered your life with your own hands, I think it would affect some of that too. You would feel better about yourself because you actually see the work that you've done, and it would make you feel better about yourself instead of having such a being down on yourself and just giving up in life. I'm actually getting out there and doing something and working with your hands would be better for you in a mental way as well. And a lot of things that are created by ease don't last. I worked with a young guy who basically he didn't know how to use a hammer, and he neglected learning to use a hammer because to him using a screw gun is easier. But if you use a screw gun to build everything and just put screws in everything, but you use nails, like if you built a box all out of screws versus building a box using nails, the nails are stronger. The box built with the nails will last and stick together a lot longer than a box just put all together with screws. So the easier, what we think is easier, is really a lot of times affecting us. We don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to be polite to people, how to conversate with people, how to work through problems, because we're just, glued to the phone all the time, glued to social media, talking to people online. and you miss out on what real life is all about. So there is a danger in too much technology and seeking too much ease. It's definitely food for thought that we should limit the technology and use it just for a specific purpose, rather than looking at all technology as wonderful, and then you can no longer survive because you don't know how to do anything anymore. You can't cut the grass anymore. You can't do anything without having a computer screen.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا